Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Make Life Less Taxing podcast, the show where we uncover what really creates freedom in life and business, and we'll explore stories of those who've learned how to build wealth with purpose.
Welcome to the Make Life Less Taxing podcast. In this episode, I want to share with you something. Last week, I attended a 3-day Mind Valley social media summit. I often attend these summits to understand what's changing outside of the financial industry, because those shifts always arrive inside financial services later, wherever we're prepared for it or not. And this time, something stood out in a way that I just couldn't ignore it. Obviously, everyone is talking about AI. Well, it has been around for several years, and unless you've been living under a rock, you don't know about it. Now, at this event, it was the main topic, but not in a hypey way. Not in a this will replace everyone, you will not have a job way, more in a quiet, matter-of-fact way. AI is removing friction, removing steps, removing complexity. And at some point, I caught myself thinking, if complexity keeps disappearing, what will actually happen to the people whose value was built around it? And this is what's happening in the financial industry. The question really stayed with me because the answer explains a lot what solo advisors are feeling right now. If you are an independent advisor, let me ask you something. Does it feel like your business takes more energy than it used to? Not just more activity, but more mental effort, more explaining, more follow-ups, more justification, more work to get the same result. If that's you, here is what I want you to hear first. This isn't because you've lost the edge. It's because suddenly clients are harder to get. And it's definitely not because you're behind. The pressure you're feeling is structural, not environmental change. For most of your career, advisors' businesses were protected by this complexity. Clients, if they wanted to do something, they needed somebody that had a license. The products they wanted to access were not accessible. They were not able to get everything on their own. You needed specialized knowledge. There were gatekeepers. If someone wanted to answer to a question they had to come to someone like you. Now, that complexity created one thing. It created scarcity. And scarcity creates leverage. You didn't have to explain why it mattered. The system did that for you. Being competent was enough. That was the game that we played. Today, clients don't need an advisor to access information. They can simply go and ask ChatGPT a question about retirement, look up tax concept in minutes, compare strategies without talking to anyone. They don't get clarity. They get information. Just enough to feel confident. And usually, they become more confused than before. And here's the realization that changed how I see everything. When information becomes easy, trust becomes scarce. And that's the new bottleneck. Scarcity always determines where leverage lives. When information was scarce, advisors had a leverage on their side. Now that information is abundant, leverage has moved. It moved to the advisor people recognized, the advisor people understand, the advisor people trust before the meeting. That's why being good doesn't feel like enough anymore. Not because it isn't valuable, but because it's no longer visible by default. Most advisors were trained by a belief that sounded like this. If I am competent enough, clients will find me. And for a long time, that belief worked. Today, it doesn't. It fails loudly. It fails quietly. It looks like this. Longer sales cycles, more meetings, more explaining, worse fit clients, and more pressure for the same income. That's not a motivational problem. It's a discovery problem. Now, here's the shift in one clean sentence. When advice becomes easy to access, authority becomes the asset. Not your credentials, not your products, not your platform, but authority. The advisor people already trust before they ever talk to. This is where most advisors mentally push back, because it sounds like you're being asked to become something you never wanted to be. But let's strip this down. In this day and age, every advisory practice needs to become a media company. Not because you wanted to become one, but because trust now forms before the first conversation. And every solo advisor is now a brand. Not the firm, not the platform, you. It doesn't mean becoming an influencer. It means something far simpler. If you don't explain how you think and how you help someone else will explain it to them. Media isn't about attention. It's about explanation. It's how someone decides, I trust this person before they ever book a meeting. It's how authority compounds without pressure. This is an ego. It's a stewardship, helping the right people understand who you are before they even need you. So when it comes down to, you need to start building your own personal brand. Every financial advisor needs to have a brand. And once you go and build a brand, you need to build your comeback story, your origin story. You need to be able to share what you do, how you do it, how you help somebody. And when we're talking about you having your own media company, it just simply means using the assets like LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. These are the assets you can use to go and share your message. There was a study that was done by Dunbar Research. They call it the 7-11-4. Before somebody's going to go and buy from you, they will invest 7 hours watching your content. They will need 11 touches. And they will look for you on 4 different platforms. It's not enough just to go and have a website and thinking, oh, well, that's enough for a LinkedIn profile. People are learning and searching for you. And there is a whole nother layer that we're not going to go into this video, where SEO and people able to find you on Google still does matter. But what matter most are people able to find you on ChatGPT, right? All of these LMN models. What I would encourage you to go and do, go to ChatGPT and ask. I have done that for myself. Who is Daniel Hanzelka? What do you know about me? And it will give you, go and search the internet, and it will tell you exactly what it thinks that you are. And you may be surprised what it does. Maybe it knows something about you, maybe it doesn't. So here is something that most advisors don't realize yet. Silence used to be safe. Now silence is interpreted as absence. If someone looks you up and can't understand how you think or what you stand for, you're not rejected. You're just going to be skipped over. And in this system, being skipped removes you from consideration entirely. You will become completely invisible. It's kind of like being a most beautiful billboard in middle of Sahara Desert. When nobody sees you, nobody really cares. And I think this is where most advisors get stuck. They try to borrow attention instead of owning it. They build inside someone else's brand. They depend on carrier marketing. They rely on platforms-generated leads. And it feels safe until it isn't. Because authority you don't own isn't leverage. It's permission. And permission can be revoked. Freedom doesn't come from access. It comes from ownership. So if you're getting leads from LinkedIn, from all of these, from Facebook, from all of these other platforms, you need to start to build a way that you have how you're capturing all of that information, having a newsletter, reaching out to these individuals on a consistent basis so that you can go and nurture them. You can go and speak with them. Because when you post something on LinkedIn, maybe 10% of your audience, of your connections will actually see your message. Now, if you have an email list and you have 1,000 names on it, all 1,000 of those names are going to get the email. They have the opportunity to go and see your message. So here's the question that I want you to sit with. If a prospect looked you up today Not your firm, not your platform, but you. What would they find? What would they understand? Would they know how you think, what you stand for, why you're different, why they should work with you? Or would AI and generic language speak for you? Because AI doesn't care how long you've been licensed. It doesn't care how hard you work. What it does, it rewards quality. It rewards consistency. And it routes that trust accordingly. Keep What Is Yours has never been about doing more. It's about removing the systems that are quietly taking away from you, taking away of your time, your leverage, your authority. The solo advisor didn't break, it evolved. And the advisor who adapts won't just survive. They'll operate with leverage, attract better clients, and finally feel like the effort makes more sense. So I want you to think about this. What is it that you need to be doing right now in order to make yourself more visible, in order for you to go and share what your story is, and what you can do to actually break away from that traditional financial system? That's really what our movement is all about. That's what this podcast is about. Make life less taxing. Break free. Keep what is yours and break free. Break free from the traditional financial system. We work with financial advisors and helping them to break free from the traditional financial system to help their clients to break free from that financial system that they're all part of. So I want you to consider, what is it that you need to do today? Ask yourself those questions. Who am I? What am I doing? Why would somebody want to go and deal with me? How can I go and reclaim my authority to reclaim my visibility? So I want you to go and reclaim your authority. I want you to go and truly get a deeper understanding what you need to be doing in order to break free. Because making life less taxing isn't about tactics. It's about reclaiming control before the systems decides for you. Thank you for listening to Make Life Less Taxing podcast, and thank you for being part of the movement that we are building to help independent solo financial advisors to break free from the systems that are holding them back. We'll see you next time on the Make Life Less Taxing podcast.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Make Life Less Taxing podcast. Be sure to check out our other top advisor interviews at makelifilesstaxingpodcast.com.